Hello, everyone. This is Kashif Kamran, and welcome to the episode 3 for Perspective. And in this perspective, I am discussing the F8 paper, the Audit and Assurance paper, with two high achievers, one from India and one from Bangladesh. Today, I've been joined by Aryan. He's from India. He was a high achiever. He scored 77 marks from India. And I will shortly be joined by Sarovar Jamil from Bangladesh. He got the third position from Bangladesh in the F8 examinations for June 2023. Welcome both of you on board, and many thanks for taking your time out for this quick exam tip session for the F8 students. So, just moving on into the session and just raising some questions before I get some questions for the panel. Okay, Aryan, the very first thing I would like to ask you is that with the F8 exams just 4 days away from now, Monday is the exams, and we're doing the session on Thursday. So, what will be your key advice to students who are preparing for F8 paper? What they should be focusing on in this last 4 days?
Good evening, sir, and good evening to everyone. Sir, for the last 4 days for AA, I would advise students and everyone who's preparing for September attempt is focus more on just revising the stuff because FA is completely mostly a theoretical paper, and because of course there are many key concepts, so I would recommend to just focus on the revising stuff, and you can I think one of the crucial tip for revising that I used for AA is you need to write precise and you need to write good and technical words so that you can gain a good amount of marks. So you can revise the things by writing on your rough copies or whatever you use. So it would help you to retain the information better because the writing and revising things, it's I think it's a good combination, and just revise the stuff, go through the technical articles which your tutor mentions you or you things are important, and just yeah, that's the things that I would recommend. And yeah.
So, in your case, Aryan, when you were preparing for the June 23 exams and you scored 77 marks, which is too high marks for F8 paper. So, what was your emphasizable area, section A or section B, where you think that you got most of the marks in the paper?
Yeah, so I secured more marks in my section B, and the section is of double is quite tricky. If you go through the stuff, that's why I went through the stuff at least twice before appearing for the exam. The thing is the MCQs are a little tricky when it comes to the time, and of course there are two times some of the MCQs are time consuming too. So for that, I would recommend that technical articles are a must for an double A. Technical articles, most of the technical articles are a must for double A, and of course for section B, where I scored higher. For that, the kit area of the section B, I followed Kaplan kit as you mentioned in your tutoring. So the Kaplan kit is really helpful for the section B. Just try to finish all the questions on time. Practice on the CBE platform. Do your past papers that are important from 2016 or 17 to 20 to the latest ones, and just that, sir. Just
Okay.
make sure that you're practicing in time enough, and just that, sir.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, Aryan, for that insight. Definitely, section B is 70% of the paper, and no doubt about that it contributes significantly to any student success in F8. So, if you're really good in section B and you can capture most of the section B marks, because we'll be coming to that shortly, there is a lot of repetition in section B, and there is a lot of standardization in section B in terms of the questions being asked there. So, if you have practiced good amount of past papers, as Aryan was saying, so there is a significant chance of scoring better in section B. And I totally agree with him that section A is very tricky. You might not be knowing all the 15 OD questions, but you might be knowing some of them, and where the answer would be easier for you. But in some cases, the answer might be difficult for you. So it's not like you might be scoring 30 out of 30 in the OD side, but but you can gain upon in the section B of the paper. Just let me check if we can connect with Sarovar Jamil from Bangladesh. Sarovar, can you hear me now? Sarovar, is my voice getting through to you? Okay, hello. I hope you all can hear me. I think there was some sort of technical issues. I believe my voice is getting through with clarity now to all of you. Sarwar, I hope you can hear
Hello.
me now as well.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. I hope there is no disturbance in your voice quality.
Hello, sir.
Can you? Yeah, hello. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Sarowa, for joining from Bangladesh. You got the third position in the F8 paper from June 23 exams. Many congratulations for that. I was just
Thank you, sir.
discussing with Aryan before you joined in that with exams 4 days away for F8, what sort of advice would you like to give to the F8 students to score excellence in the F8 paper before we move to the next question?
As there is only 4 days remaining, my
Yeah.
suggestion is would be only practice kit question and try to read those examiners report, because examiners report has very good insights what common mistakes students usually do, and also try to students should cover those articles, technical articles, that would be beneficial for them.
Okay, so you believe that students should focus on practicing the past papers, and
Yes,
they should look inside the examiner report, as they can get a lot of constructive criticism of the examiner where the
yes,
student
sir.
go wrong in the AA paper, and focusing
Yes,
on
sir.
technical articles in this last 4 days, right? That's your advice, Sarwa, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The answers to the OT questions. What can a student do in exam pressure to excel on section A, the 30% of the paper? If I can take your perspective, Aryan first, followed by Sarwa.
Yes, sir. For the last tips, as Sarovar also mentioned, the examiner reports are important too. So, for that, I would recommend the kit is a must. You must excel on the kit, and the section A of the kit is really, really very important to, uh, you know, base your foundation. Uh, and the section B is the most important part where because it consists of 70 marks. So for section B and section A, the kit is a must. And for additional things that you can try, are examiner reports, your technical articles. Just try to finish the questions on time, because most of the people and the students that make mistake in double A is that they write too much, and writing too much in audit can really harm your marks during the exam time, because the exam is only just for 3 hours, and writing too much will not gain you excessive marks, or that's not the logic behind this. You need to write on point, and need to write the exact point that that the examiner requires. And of course, one more thing I would like to mention is go through the read the mind of double A examiner that is available on the ACCA's your my ACCS platform. And yeah, because you need to know what the examiner wants. You cannot just write what you know. You need to write according to the perspective of examiner, what he wants. You need to give him the technical analysis. You need to give him the things that he wants, so you can score better. So yeah, so that's the thing.
Okay, thank you so much, Aryan, for that insight. I'll just be taking a summary of that after taking the perspective of Sarovar on that as well. Sarovar, what's your perspective of how a student can excel in Section A, which is a pretty challenging section of the double A paper?
Thank you, sir, for letting me speak. And what Brother Aryan said is like fruitful for he drafted all the thing. I think the most important thing he took that students, and I want to say section A and B. These are the toughest, most challenging part, and you can't like for theory based this kind of subject. You can't like really point from where they are giving you those kind of questions, and it's really tricky. And so I need my suggestion is you need to practice kit as much as possible, and also what he said like we need to know the what things running behind examiner's mind, because we can write so many things. And even I saw in my exam center people, when exam started, they just started for section C question, they skip A and B, and I heard the keyboard sound, like they all just started typing. So I thought their strategy was to go for section C first, as they want to answer more and more there. And I think they lost their focus there, because section A and B also has some very good easy marks if I can focus on them for first 1 hour. So my suggestion would be practice more and more, and first go for section A and B question.
Okay, okay. Yes, definitely. Section A has 58 minutes of the total exam time. So that 58 minutes is psychologically 1 hour that should be spent ideally on Section A. And you should think of the right answer within the stipulated time. It could be possible that at the first go, you are not aware of the right answer. So you still have like 2 to 3 minutes to be spent on each OT question, which is quite good to think of the most ideal answer for that question. Okay, hello everyone. Really sorry for some internet connectivity issues. I hope this will work for the rest of the 30 minutes of this quick session. I hope Sarwar and Aryan, you are still there. There is a question from a student. Just let's ensure the next 30 minutes gets off with an effective connectivity. There is a question from Vartika Agarwal. She's asking how to procedures. Generally, I forget the substantive procedures in exam. Please provide some advice. Any advice from you, Aryan, and then Sarwar, you? How to go about substantive procedures?
So I think that substantive procedures, of course, they are the most important part of the exam. Majority of the section B questions are picked up from the substantive procedures, so you need to have a strong grip on them. And so I would not recommend any student to just rote learn the substantive procedures. You can either follow a mixed strategy like a 50-50 one that you can half rote. Maybe I don't recommend the rote learn exam, but if you are less in time, then you can go for a little bit rote learn, but make sure that you're understanding the concept and the procedure what you're applying, because if you don't understand the procedure, uh, like it is difficult to pick the points from the case, because you need to make the question answer the case specific. You need to link the case, right? Yeah, to this to the scenario provided by the examiner. So for this I would recommend just don't rote learn the things, but if you're short in time, maybe then you can go for a rote learn, but still I would recommend try to understand the concept, because substantive projects are the most conceptual areas of the F8 exam, right? And just that's the thing, just understand the concept. It's given in a very detailed manner in the study text, and of course from the tutor, if you are studying from any, he can help you too in that. So yeah, the conceptual is area of the substantive procedures to understand is more important, rather than just rote learning them and writing them in exam, because there are too many substantive projects to write to, so you cannot just rote learn every single one of them. It would be a waste of your time, and it would be a waste of your effort. So just understand the concept, and that's the thing how you gain marks in substantive project, according to me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Rian, for that. So you're not in favor of the rote learn substantive procedures. It's more about case oriented, because we know substantive procedures, which now come in the AA exams, are with short case studies. So each case study tells you what is actually happening around share capital or receivables or payables or fixed assets. You just need to understand the scenario and then think about what right actions will the auditor take in terms of gathering sufficient appropriate audit evidence. What's your say on this? Sarovar, about substantive procedures. Do you favor rote learning or you are against it as well?
Yes, thank you. I am also against rote learning one because nowadays you can get number by just rote learning the general point and just throw them on your exam sheet. Because
Hmm.
substantive procedure, and also I also keep kept forgetting those points, and I also used to practice a lot. And just the thing is, you need to practice more and more, and every day you can uh, see some model answer and the examiner's report and what they are really trying to say, that what usually students make and which point students do rote learning. We should avoid those points. If we can avoid those easy mistakes, I think we can better learn substantive procedure and we can show a good result in our
Yes,
exam.
thank you so much, Sarovar, for that. So both the students deny the role of rote learning and substantive procedures. Definitely, if you can practice like 5 recent papers on substantive procedures, could be good, because you can understand what exactly the examiner required for substantive procedure. You can investigate a couple of examiner reports, because examiner do give you very valuable advice around substantive procedures, which could be good for you to polish up your substantive procedures for the upcoming exams starting on Monday. So that sort of things can be done at this point in time. A bit of more practice and a deep investigation into the examiner report can definitely add value. There is another similar question, because I believe substantive procedure is one of an area where students face challenge. Sangeeta is asking a question: how to write a good procedure? I know the concept of CASP, but still find this part very challenging. Sangeeta, even though the panel, Aryan and Sarovar, just answered that perspective on procedures, I hope you just heard them out. Uh, Definitely, CASP is a mnemonic where C stands for case specific, A stands for action, S stands for the source or the subject matter, and P stands for the purpose. So, if you are writing a procedure which has an action, which has a source, and which has a purpose, these are three good attributes of a good procedure. C is something connected to the case. So, if your procedure is starting with like obtain directly is not an action. Action is like, what is the auditor doing? Like, auditor is review, auditor inspect, auditor recalculate, or auditor discuss. So these are like actions of the auditor. These are like you can start writing a good substantive procedure. And then you should have a subject matter. For example, if you say discuss with management, it would be better to identify who is in the case study. For example, discuss with finance director. That makes it more specific. So a lot of time you use that journal terminology management. There could be someone in the case. Try to use that someone as a subject matter of your discussion to better your substantive procedure. Your quick thoughts, Aryan and Sarovar, on CASP, if you have used that or you're familiar with that from my lectures, CASP, how beneficial was that?
Of course, I do remember, sir, that you said a lot of things about the CASP and how to link it. Of course, the case linkage is very, very important for the substantive projects. You cannot gain marks without adding them in the points. So, yeah, the CASP really, it's a important technique that you can use for a substantive project. That I would like to give just a quick tip for the how to link the case with the your CASP. You can mention the company's name on your substantive procedures, or you can mention the date, the year end, the fiscal year that is provided in the question. Or yeah, these are the just basic things that you can use, and rest you can use your own words or how you have prepared your conceptual understanding for the substantive procedure, and this will help you for gaining the marks, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Aryan. Your input on this, Server, is CASP a good technique to excel in substantive procedures in F8 paper?
Yes, sir. Casper is really good technique as like we can connect it very easily, and we in this paper we can just if we don't follow a format, we can be lost, and we can just make some random thing, and this CAS model uh, helps us to focus on the point, what we can put the in a point for good mark. So I think if we follow the format of CAS and just practice through it more and more, I think we can excel this exam.
Yes, thank you so much. So CASP is indeed a good strategy, but again, at the end of the day, as Aryan also highlighted, that using the name of the company or any specific jargon or terminology in the case study, if you bring that out in your procedure, suppose there is any numerical value or there is a specific name or a specific jargon in the question, if that is used in your answer, would definitely add value. So examiner would feel like as if you read the case rather than you giving a rote learn substantive procedure to the examiner. Okay, another question from Ehsan Khan. How to make a better grip on section A and how to manage the time effectively in the exam? Even though Aryan and Sarovar just spoke about section A grip at the start of the session, Ehsan, how to effectively manage time? I think we can take that question. So how did you effectively manage time, Aryan and Sarovar, in your real exam? Did you had any split formula for section A, section B?
For section A, as I mentioned earlier, it's a tricky part. You need to. The thing is just the for time management in section A. Just make sure that you are looking at the clock that is running on your screen, and just make it's of course it's 1.8 marks per mark. So don't overrun a question. Don't overrun any marks because there is no guarantee that you'll get it right even after spending more time. So just flag it if you think that you are not pretty sure about what will be the answer. Just choose the option. Just guess mark the option. Flag it and move on. And after that, when you complete your exam, when the time is over and it's almost over, and like 5 and 10 minutes are left for being over the exam. So just return back to those points, still read them twice, or thrice if you think, and answer with all the knowledge that you have. And I think this is the way that how should manage the time in section A, because it's a crucial part. Because if you just spend all your time in section A, you won't have the
Mhm.
enough time to answer all the questions in section B. And section B in the double A is the most like it's the majority part of section B of audit exam. So you cannot pass the exam without scoring better in section B. So yeah, that's the thing.
Okay, your perspective, server, on time management between section A and B.
So what I did was like I picked like 1 hour for section A, and if I could not make some point, I just flagged them as Brother Aryan said. And I again after section B, I finished all the part, and then I again came back and I saw if I could it's good. Otherwise, I just make some random choices, and that's the way because you can't overrun on a single question because you need to spend a lot and on section B. So that thing is like the point.
Yes, totally agree. Obviously, there might be many things in exam which you don't know at the first instance. So you cannot just spoil your entire 100 marks paper if you don't know something. So for example, there is a 10% paper which you don't know on a day of a real exam. So that 10% paper should be set aside, focus on the 90% of the paper you know, and try to excel on that within the time you have for the 90% of the paper. And as Aryan and Sarovar said, that you can flag the remaining 10% and come back to it later in the last 15-20 minutes and try to do your best on the part where you are struggling. So whatever ability, whatever knowledge you have, you can do something better on that 10% paper which you don't know, rather than leaving it at zero. You can still score something like 2 3 marks out of 10. Could be a difference between you passing and failing any exam, right? Whether it is double A or any other paper. So that's extremely important. Another thing which where Aryan pointed out something, and I just need to add some value to it. He said that you have a time for section A, right? And ideally that's like 58 minutes if you take it on a mathematical track. But a lot of time the student are in so hurry in section A that rather than overspending time on section A, they take less time on section A. I've seen students just finishing off section A in like 20-25 minutes, as if it's like nothing of a contribution to your success, and they're just in a panic to uh, go over section A as quickly as possible and just enter into section B. You have a good 1 hour for section A where you can read the OT case, you can understand the OT case, and then you can think about the right answer for each OT question you have. You can still score better from section A rather than just be in a hurry to enter into the section B. No doubt section B is important. It has its own 2 hours which you can give to section B and excel on that, right? So I think you need sometime the wise decisions in exam, and wise decisions to count on the day of the real exam. Another connected question from SN Khan to the panel: how to ace the knowledge testing areas? We know there are a lot of knowledge testing areas in section B, asking you like the definitions or something like advantages, disadvantages, some sort of those questions. How to go about tackling them, Aryan and Sarova?
Yeah, so to ace the knowledge testing area, of course, the corporate governance and the planning and evidence, and of course, there are more important chapters. For them, sir, I would recommend, just as there are 4 days left, revise them thoroughly, read them, write them, practice them by typing in the your CBE platform. This is the most efficient manner that that you can use to retain the knowledge, because you have to retain the knowledge so that you can write the double exam. It's completely a theoretical paper. So yeah, for the knowledge area, I would recommend, for definitions you can go for rote learning if you're short in time, or of course I would not recommend to make your own definitions, because definitions are pretty straightforward. So yeah, you can read the definitions either from the articles present in the articles or in the examiner. Yeah, examiner reports consist of the answer of the examiner report consists of the answers of the definitions that are important. I use them, of course, and yeah, the study text includes almost everything. The Kaplan study text which I used. So yeah, for the straightforward questions, for the definitions, I would recommend you can go for the just read them, revise them from the areas.
Okay, thank you so much for that advice, Aryan. What's your say on that, Sarovar? How to ace the knowledge testing areas in double A paper?
Yes, sir. So the knowledge testing area was like little bit boring. I also found it boring, and I also had trouble to memorize those points. But what I did, I used to just follow your notes, and you made lots of those knowledge testing areas question, disadvantage, advantage, and some theory. And I used to just read them. Sometimes I just write them after reading. So that's the thing. I didn't put much effort on that part, because I also saw I got there's only I think 4 or 5 or 6 highest marks there. So if I focus more on other part, because I found that part really boring.
Okay, so both of them has given you some perspective, Essen, on how to ace the knowledge testing areas. Just to add on to their advices, you can do the recent 5, 6 papers because there are a lot of repetition in knowledge testing areas as well. For example, what are benefits of planning? For example, telling about how to document the internal control systems, the advantages and disadvantages to documenting the internal control system. What are terms of the audit engagement letter? These are quite repetitive knowledge testing areas in the double A paper. So if you do 5, 6 papers, there is a surety that you might get something out of that on the day of your September 23 exams as well. So that's another way, right, of preparing the knowledge testing areas. And you have already taken advice from Aryan and Sarwar on that. Okay, a few questions from my side as we get more questions from the students. We've almost finished the list of student questions. So just a quick reminder that in section B, the key areas are internal controls. That's very regular. Substantive procedures, we were just discussing about that, is a very regular feature of section B. Audit report is a very regular feature for section B, though the marks are less on audit report. Audit risk and responses. These are the areas where I believe you should focus in the next 4 days. You can keep 1 day for internal control, 1 day for substantive, 1 day for audit report, 1 day for audit risk and responses. And you can do like 2 to 3 past papers for each of these areas so that you can excel. Because at the end of the day, when you even look at the September 23 exams, you will not you will get something out of these 4 areas because these are regular feature of section B. What's your say, Aryan and Sarovar, within like a minute each on the key areas in section B? Do you agree these are key areas, and is it a good strategy to give 1 day each on the 4 of them?
Yeah, of course, the internal controls, the substantive procedures, audit report, risk and responses, the deficiencies, they really form a majority and substantial part of the section B. Yeah, so these are the most important chapters you can really work on for the section B. As I said earlier, work on your typing speed, work on your just for typing speed. I would recommend so that you can complete the question on time, go on CB platform, open the the word processor area, and you can just practice there enough as many questions as you want. There are many questions in KIT. There are many questions in the past papers. Of course, there are many past papers for double A, and yeah. So for these audit report, audit risk responses, the conceptual gain is really important. Yeah, I myself started late for the preparation of the double exam. I was almost late, so I contacted you, and you almost just complete the. You told me to complete the lectures and just read the specific articles that you mentioned me. And yeah, I just followed that, sir. The examiner reports, the specific articles that you mentioned me, I completed with your lectures. And self for section B, the thing is just the practice is the key. The practice is the most important key so that you can excel in the section B. Without practice, you won't be able to write. You won't have a good speed. You won't be able to write the technical words. You won't, yeah. So that's the thing. And just for the final tip for the section B is read as there are cases present. Read the case very specifically. Try to link the case because case linking is necessary everywhere. I think the risk, the deficiencies, you need to mention them. What are the case linking areas that are present that are given by the examiner to you in the question? Make sure you manage your time effectively. Just keep an eye on the clock that's running on your screen, and make sure you don't overrun a question, because if you overrun a question, it's not a good thing. Yeah, if you have completed your section and you're pretty confident your section has gone well, so yeah, then you can just spend the rest of the amount on your section B. I would recommend, but make sure that you don't overrun a question. And this is just the basic tip. Practice is the key for the double exam. For section B, I tried most of the, I practiced as much questions I could on the limited time what I have, and that's the thing. You listen to your tutor. Be confident with your practice. Manage your time effectively. Uh, Provide the case linking. Know what your double A examiner wants. The technical articles are a boon for the double A, and I think of course the study hub is now available. The thing like study hub is just mentioned in the platform, so you can use the study hub too. So yeah, that's the thing, and just good luck to everyone.
Okay, thank you so much, Aryan, for that insightful comment on Section B key areas. Sarovar, you say on Section B key areas, how to go about them in the next 4 days ahead of the exam?
As there is only 4 days remaining, so and substantive procedure, internal control, and audit risk, they form the most big part of audit question. So if someone for these days, if they just only practice these few areas, it would be enough for them because now we don't have much time for only 4 days remaining. So if we focus more and more on internal control, substantive procedure, and audit risk, it would be beneficial for them. And the
Okay,
timing part, that's the thing.
okay. Thank you so much. Indeed, Section B is very standardized, very structured. It moves around the four key areas you can see right in front of your screen now: control, substantive procedures, audit report, and audit risk and responses. If you can practice plenty of questions around these areas over the next 4 days, that would be good for you to excel in the Section B area, as again guided by Aryan and Sarwa. Just a quick reinforcement before we just move to the wind up question for this session. The section B of the paper has 137 minutes in total of the exam time, where you can spend 59 minutes to the 30 marks question. That's almost like an hour, and a 39 minutes each for the 220 marks question. So for each of the 20 marks question, you will be having 39 minutes each. So just like Aryan was saying, if you can just focus on the time management, read the requirements very carefully, try to connect the requirement with the case study, because if there is a connection of case with your answer, or if there is a synchronization of your answer with the case, eventually you will pass the section B of the paper. But if your answer is disconnected with the case, or there is no connection of your answer with the case study, eventually you're not producing a very impressive answer for the double A marking team to reward you good marks in the double A paper. And that's one of the reason you have a great number of failures and less number of students passing the double A paper at the end of the day. Okay, just we got a diversity of questions from the students. We got perspective of section A and B from Aryan and Sarova. I just would like to discuss something on the lighter side of this session. With 4 days away the exams, and Sarovar and Aryan, you might be appearing for your exams as well. As Aryan just told me before the session, you're appearing for your FM paper, and Sarovar, I believe you will be appearing for some paper on Monday or Tuesday.
I'm appearing for F6 text paper.
F6 paper. So they both have their own papers, right, coming up in the next week. So look at this question: how to overcome panic, fear, anxiety, or stress on the day of exam? I believe this is something natural which build ups, and it must have started to build up from today over the next few days. How to overcome that? I mean, what sort of strategies you people take to overcome this? If you have any specific strategies for this.
So for panic, fear, anxiety, and stress, any kind of these things, I would recommend just stay confident. If you have practiced enough, if you have learned enough, you have grabbed the concept real hard. If you have went through your tutor notes, you have went through everything, almost everything, your lectures, your revision, webinars, everything. Just you have used your resources, of course. Just stay confident. Panic, fear, anxiety, stress, these are a natural part of your of course examination journey, and you cannot ignore them. But I would say just stay on top of them. uh, just don't for the final days of exam, just don't spend your whole day studying, right? Go out, go out for a good walk, go out for a good run, and drink, stay hydrated, and just believe in yourself, I would say, and just because panic and fear, they do nothing. They are just a delusion. So yeah, just stay confident, and if there are any weaker areas, if there are any revision areas that you need, do revise them before the. Of course, there are 4 days left. Do go through them once, practice them. As I told, you can practice by writing them. It would help you in the double exam. And just, yeah, just that, just believe in yourself, work on yourself, stay confident, and you'll do great. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, Aryan, for that insights on how to overcome panic, fear, anxieties, how to relax yourself a day before exam, and more importantly, just leaving out those bad thoughts. Just be optimistic and don't be pessimistic because you have done what you need to do. So it's just time to pack up, polish up, just refine yourself up in the next 3 days, and then just go down and do your best on the day of exam. Sarovar, your thought process on how to overcome panic, fear, anxiety, and stress on the day of exam.
And my thought is because I am also stressed in the situation because my exam is on Wednesday, and I am also stressed now. So what I do is like I even today morning I didn't want to study like this, so I also go for a run. That's the thing, and I go for a run and I do my prayer. So these things like really helps me to calm down, and I also try to eat healthy like fruits and s- try to stay hydrated. So these are like the thing, and others like cause like in F6 like you have so many small things to remember, so many things. So it's like really sometimes overburdens you. Like yeah, so that's the thing, and I am also the patient of this anxiety and stress now. So,
Okay, I think that's quite a natural phenomenon, right? Which build ups a few days before the exam, and this is an ideal time where it should start to build up and must have started to build up among all the student community appearing for September 23 exams. Yes, definitely. One advice which I would also agree with what Aryan also highlighted. Suppose you have exam on Monday, so Sunday is a day when you should not study at all. I really hate students who study till the last moment. I think 24 hours before exams, you should put off your books and do whatever you want to do to make yourself relax, calm ahead of the exam, because I think you need that optimum working of mind. And that optimum working of mind will only come if that mind is relaxed. If you are studying a few hours before the exam, when you enter the exam hall and you need to sit there for 3 hours and 15 minutes, you might easily get stressed out in the first 15-20 minutes, because you need your mind to function, and for your mind to function well you need a break. So I would prefer that 24 hours before the exam you should close off everything, because whatever you could have done you have done. You could not do more than that. Just be optimistic, just look at the positive sides, just look at the success you've already got in the ACC exams, and I think that's the best way you can motivate yourself. Yes, whatever makes you relax, do it. Go for walk, go for jog, watch a movie, whatever. Whatever makes you relax, just be there. But I really don't like that strategy of sitting with books a day before the exams. Okay, just to wrap up the session, just a quick 1 minute views of yours. There's a question from Vertika, and I just don't want to ignore that because that's in the live session. So just a quick 30 seconds from both of you. How to complete the exam on time? Because she's saying she's struggling to complete the exam. She's leaving like 20 to 25 marks of the paper. She's saying she's working on the typing speed for that, but anything beside typing speed she can do in.
For time management, as I mentioned, of course, typing speed is one aspect of how you complete your exam on time. But I think for not the typing is not just the one aspect, but the second aspect is practice. The more you practice, the better you become, and that's what I believe every single time for every single examination of ACCA. I believe that practice is the thing that makes you perfect. Uh, for the last 4 exams, I would recommend, as you also left your 20-25 marks of paper, which can be brutal in the double A exam. Just try to read as much cases if you can before the 3 days, not the final day. Just for the final day, just leave it to the revision day. Before the 3 days, try to go through the things, try to read as much questions you can read, and not just question. I think that the Kaplan kit contains the boxes, the answers that are present in the last pages, they are more crucial. So even if you visit them once and you can just read them out, you can revise them out, you can write them down. I think it would really help you in, because double A is a very repetitive exam. The questions can stuck, maybe same sometimes. So yeah, just go through the boxes, go through the answers, and read them aloud. Typing speed is one aspect, but the second aspect that you need to conquer for the exam is just read them, go through them, revise them. Maybe technical articles would help you right now, or I hope that you have completed your examiner reports. So yeah, these are the basic things that would help you gain the exact knowledge that you need in the double A. And yeah, that's what I want to say.
Okay, thank you so much, Aryan. Sarovar, your say on how to finish off paper in time, because she's struggling to finish off the paper. 20 to 25% of the paper is left.
Yes. So when I used to study those model answer on Kaplan kit, their answer was like really professional and very big, and I used to get frustrated. Like, can I do them like all? And it's like impossible to do all of the things. So my thought was like I used to keep my answer as brief as possible. So like back in the mind, I was like the thought was going on like I have this number for this question, and if I can just touch all of the question little, so I can get the most out of it. So I didn't focus on one question for a long time, and as long as that my dedicated time, I just reach those time for that question, I just skip that answer and I started new question. So that's how like I used to keep my answer short as possible. The time management I did.
Okay, thank you so much. Just a quick recap. Aryan said it's about practice. The practice will make you better in terms of your time management in the paper. And again, Sarovar was talking about writing a more like a more concise answer, yet a complete answer. I was also of the view that a well-developed point in double A, whether you're writing a deficiency in internal control, or you're writing an audit risk in the double A paper, three sentences, or 3 to 4 sentences long. A sentence is different from a line. A lot of time I say 3 to 4 sentences, so students believe it's like 3 to 4 lines. A sentence is where you put a full stop. So 3 to 4 sentences long is one well-developed answer for audit risk, or one well-developed point for control deficiency, or what is a key control, or what is a direct control. So it could be the case, Vartika, that you're writing a bit longer, which is then resulting in running out of time. So if you can just shorten your answers a bit, hopefully you will fit in the time. And if you're leaving like 20% papers for real practice now, in exam the speed is much different, the speed you have at home. So sitting at home and doing an exam and doing an exam in real exam pressure is very different. So if you're leaving like 20% paper now, in exam it might get down to 10%, because your speed automatically improves up when you're going through the real challenge. So many thanks, both of you, Aryan and Sarwa, for joining in the session today at a very short notice and sharing your thoughts. I wish all the double A students the very best of luck. And to you, Aryan and Sarwa, for your upcoming exams for FM and F6. Wish you all the very best. Thank you so much once again for taking your time out and making this session possible, and sharing your thought process with the double A students. I hope they would like your perspective and follow them on the day of the exam. Thank you so much. Take good care of yourself. Wish you all the best. Goodbye from now.